you may leave the room. Maybe it's easier not to listen to the truth, the ambassador.
This is my second video update for the day, and I am here in central Athens. I have got the Hilton Hotel, the big Hilton Hotel right there. It is under renovation right now, so it's not open, not operating. Got some fountains in the background over there as well, and just people hanging out in this old park. Someone told me that that they said, "Hey Alex, you're showing some really nice parks in Greece. I thought you said they don't do parks very well." Well, this is one of the older parks in the city center. It's not bad, but not much green. A lot of dirt. But anyway, let's. The benches are really uncomfortable. But let's talk about the news, because we got so much stuff going on, and you saw the 6-7 second intro segment. That was Charles Michel. He's like the second in command in the European Union. He's the Laurel and Hardy of the van der Leyen Charles Michel duo, the Tweedledee to her Tweedledum. And to be quite honest, I think to be more accurate, actually, he's the council. He's the head of the European Council, and van der Leyen's the head of the European Commission. But he was speaking at the EU, and he went on and on about how Russia is committing war crimes, and how Russian soldiers were committing crimes, RAPE. I'm saying that because of YouTube censors. RAPE crimes in Ukraine. Now, this is interesting. And I'll tell you why it's interesting. But as he was giving the speech, the Russian ambassador got up and left. And that 6-second clip that you saw from Michel was posted on his Twitter account, where he's kind of showboating and, being the tough EU kleptocrat that he is, and saying, Mr. Ambassador, you may be able to walk out of the room, but the truth is there. You can't hide from the truth. That kind of, what is it? A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson, and Tom Cruise. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. That was Charles Michel's little A Few Good Men play acting, virtue signaling. He's virtue signaling, and he put it up on Twitter, and I'm sure he feels really proud, and he feels like he's a big tough man. But the problem with his little speech there is that he's basing all of this evidence of crimes. What's the right word outside of RAPE that I could use for YouTube? Sexual violence, things like this. These types of crimes that were alleged at the Russian military, that's all been debunked. And that's been debunked by the Ukraine government. We did a video on this 2 days ago, where we talked about Ludmila Denisova and how she was peddling all this fake information about sexual crimes and atrocities allegedly committed by Russian troops, and it was all fake news. It's all been debunked, and it was so bad, her lies were so bad, that the Ukraine government, the Zelensky regime, the Ukraine parliament had to actually fire her. She was in charge of human rights and all of these things, and she was feeding outrageous, crazy, fake stories to NGOs and to the media about Russian soldiers' war crimes and their RAPE crimes. And they fired her. They fired her because the NGOs and the Western mainstream media had to call her out on her BS. Think about that. Her BS, her fake news was so bad. Ludmila Denisova, her fake news was so bad that Western NGOs and Western mainstream media journalists had to officially call her out on it. And they had to fire her because the optics were terrible. And we reported on this We did a live stream with Jacob Dryzen, and he talked about Ludmila Denisova. Everyone talked about this. Jimmy Dore talked about this story. Jackson Hinkle talked about this story. Earl Grey talked about this story. The New Atlas talked about this story. All of us, we all reported on this. This was big news. And Charles Michel, you are the EU Council head honcho. Supposedly, you're the second most important person in all of Europe. Unelected, of course, but the second most important person in all of Europe. And you didn't know this? You didn't know that all of these atrocities that you're going off about in the United Nations at the Security Council meeting, all of these atrocities have been debunked by the very Zelensky regime that you're propping up? Man, Charles Michel, I can't believe you didn't get the memo. Maybe that's why the Russian ambassador walked out, because you were making such a fool of yourself. I mean, my God, what is Charles Michel's team doing? Really, what kind of news are they getting? Do they live in that much of a bubble that they didn't even know that Ukraine had fired Denisova? It really is astonishing how much of a bubble these guys operate in. Charles Michel. What a big, big mess up this was. And then he posts it on Twitter, and I'm telling you, he needs to speak with his team so they can get up to date with the news. Or maybe he should watch this channel, though I don't think Charles Michel would be too happy when I refer to Ursula von der Leyen as Ursula von der Crazy. But we'll get you a nickname too, Charles Michel. You got to think of a good nickname for Charles Michel. Let me think about it. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a good nickname for Charles Michel, and the fact that he's very late to the news. So anyway, this was a big row at the United Nations, and the deputy ambassador of Russia actually responded to Charles Michel's tweet. Just to be more precise, Charles Michel said his final words were, "You may leave the room. Maybe it's easier not to listen to the truth, dear ambassador. I want the truth, but you can't handle the truth." Yeah, that was his Jack Nicholson moment, Charles Michel's Jack Nicholson moment. But the deputy ambassador to the UN, Dmitry Polyansky, actually said in a tweet replying to Charles Michel, he said, "It's painful to see such low professional standards and lack of manners from key EU functionaries." Yeah, it is painful to see. And he also said, "We came there to listen to the truth." This is what the Russian deputy representative at the United Nations said. "We came here to listen to the truth, but the EU clearly doesn't need it. And we heard only cheeky lies and unsubstantiated claims, many of which have been already debunked. It's painful to see such low professional standards and lack of manners from key EU functionaries." That's the complete reply from the deputy UN ambassador in Russia. So what a disgrace Charles Michel is. Got to think of a good nickname for him. Really need to think of a good nickname for Mr. Charles Michel. Something that's on the same level as Ursula von der Crazy. Anyway, let's move on. And the reason we're seeing this panic from EU officials and from the collective West in general is because the Russians are winning, and they're winning big. Check out this this post from Jacob Dryzen on his blog. There's no, this is just like a title that he posted, and I'm sure he's preparing to fill us in as to what's going on. But this was his title that he put out today. It says, Sveato Gorsk, last major milestone towards Russian southward advance on Slavyansk, abandoned by Ukrainian forces. Huge, all caps, huge sea change in the last 24 hours in Ukrainian war outlook and propaganda. Mood turns negative. Resigned to more bad news. No more rah, rah. And that's an incredible quote from Mr. Dryzen, and I'm sure he's going to fill us in as to what's going on, but I think we all get the general gist of what he's saying. Sveato Gorsk is now in Russian hands. Severodonetsk, this victory counteroffensive that the Zelensky regime was going on about, is a fiction. The Russians are going to consolidate their control of that area as well. Lysychansk is next, and pretty soon you are going to see what I believe is going to be the final chapter in all of this, which is going to be Slavyansk. I've been saying this for a while now, but I believe Slavyansk is going to be the final chapter in phase 2. And even Sergei Shoigu, the Minister of Defense for the Russian Federation, came out and he made a statement with regards to Russia's military success. And you know, when Shoigu is coming out with a statement, it's big. It is big. And keep in mind that Shoigu, along with Putin, they were both on their deathbeds 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. Shoigu was supposedly suffering from a heart attack. And, well, Putin has got every disease and ailment under the sun. But Shoigu came out, and this is what he said. He reported on Tuesday that some 15 communities were recently taken by the Russian military, including Sveato Gorsk, the town where Ukrainian forces allegedly torched a wooden church as they retreated last week. Sveato Gorsk is located on the left bank of the Severodonetsk River and is claimed by the Donetsk People's Republic, the DPR, as part of its territory. And last week, a historic wooden monastery located in the town was torched and burned to the ground. Russia accused Ukrainian forces of deliberately setting it on fire to cover their retreat. Ukrainian officials blamed Russian troops for the incident. But 15 cities have been liberated from Ukraine, according to Sergei Shoigu. 15 communities, towns, have been liberated by Russia. That is big. That is really big. According to Shoigu, Russian and allied troops seized 15 communities near the river as they advanced against Ukrainian forces. Shoigu claimed that the success had resulted in the liberation of 97% of the territory claimed by the Lugansk People's Republic. The minister also claimed that all residential areas of Severodonetsk were now under Russian control, with fighting restricted to the industrial outskirts of the city, with Ukrainian soldiers continuing to surrender. The total number of POWs has reached 6,489, Shoigu said. So, for the Russian Minister of Defense to come out with these statements, I think we all understand where things are heading. And keep in mind that Lavrov also made some statements saying that if these long-range missiles, these game-changer long-range missiles, manage to hit Russian territory, well, this is what Lavrov said. The longer the range of missiles being delivered to the Kiev regime, the farther we will push the Nazis away from the line where there is a threat to the Russian population in both Ukraine and Russia. That is what Lavrov said in his latest statements. The writing is on the wall. Alexander's been reporting about this. The New Atlas has been reporting about this. The Dryzen report has been reporting about this. So many other really good military channels. I believe Military Summary and what's it called? The One Asia, Deep Politics Asia, or Deep Policy Asia. I always forget the name, DPA, but they reported on this as well. Let me know in the comments down below. It's been a long day and my mind is failing me. But my memory is failing me. But a lot of channels have been reporting on what's going on in Severodonetsk and Sveato Gorsk. And the Russian military is now confirming this. So you're seeing a lot of panic. A lot of panic across the collective West. We're seeing the Zelensky regime panic as well. They are now berating Germany. You have Aristovich, who is the clown. He is the gesture. He's the court gesture in Zelensky's clown government, and Aristovich, the Baghdad Bob of the Zelensky regime, also one of Zelensky's actor buddies. He has come out to berate Germany because he's also starting to panic. Aristovich said with regards to Germany, he said, "We are struggling to understand what we received from Germany," and he's referencing the weapons and the 5,000 helmets and all of these things. He was talking during an interview with a YouTube-based blogger. He said, "For now, I still want to see those 5,000 helmets." So he's really upset with the fact that Germany has not delivered all of their big game-changing weapons to Ukraine, or at least the game-changing weapons that Olaf Scholz is preventing from being delivered to Germany, because Der Spiegel claims that these weapons will result in such a big turnaround for the Zelensky regime that Ukraine would be marching into Russia. And Aristovich is now saying that Germany has yet to deliver these game-changing weapons, and for now, I still want to see these 5,000 helmets. So that's Aristovich lashing out at Germany. We have the Hungarian foreign minister coming out and saying, and the Hungarian foreign minister, this guy's brilliant. He's really smart. Peter Szijjártó. He has come out and he has doubled down on the Zelensky regime having mental problems. And this is what the Hungarian foreign minister has said. You see, in a Facebook post, he said this, but you see the Hungarian government, they're sticking together. They're not afraid of the Zelensky regime. I think this is the only government in the European Union that is not afraid of calling out Zelensky on his BS. And the foreign minister of Hungary said, while tens of thousands of people have worked in Hungary in recent months to help war-torn Ukraine and the Ukrainian people, Ukrainian politicians are constantly talking about Hungary in an unacceptable tone, provoking us, telling lies, and trying to blacken us. Based on all of this, Laszlo Kovar is absolutely right, even if the Ukrainians are upset. And he's referencing the Hungarian parliament speaker, who said that Zelensky has mental problems. And here you have another member of the Orbán government coming out and defending Mr. Kovar and doubling down on the claims that the Zelensky government has mental problems. Hungary is not afraid of Ukraine. That's the bottom line. And this is driving Ukraine and the Zelensky regime crazy, because what has the Zelensky regime seen in the last 3 months from the European Union? They've seen them bowing down and groveling to Zelensky and to the Zelensky regime. And here you have a country, Hungary, which is saying, you know what? We're going to call it as it is. We're going to call balls and strikes, referencing a baseball term, but we're calling it as we see it. And in this case, the Zelensky regime, they are going mad. And he's right. He's absolutely right. We're seeing panic from the U.S. government, and they've seized now 2 planes from Roman Abramovich. And this is just a bad look, but supposedly these planes were valued north of $400 million. But the U.S. government is outright stealing property that doesn't belong to them, once again in a panic, to create a narrative, to create media spin that they're seizing the assets of Putin's oligarch friends. Media spin, but that's all they have now. It looks really bad because you know what's going to happen? Other oligarchs, Saudi oligarchs, Qatar oligarchs, I don't know, other Russian oligarchs, Ukrainian oligarchs, Indian oligarchs, I don't know, all the oligarchs of the world that have various assets and money parked in the United States, they're going to say, I got to get the hell out of here, because they're going after Abramovich, but tomorrow they're coming after me. Even American oligarchs, I'm sure that Bezos and Gates and all of these guys, and Elon Musk, and I'm going to do a clown world on Elon Musk, and even Elon Musk are going to say, you know what? It's not safe to hold assets, valuable assets, in the United States. It's not a good look for the U.S. It's a big, big mistake. what other stories do I have before I get to my clown world here? Russia, they're seeing an extra 6.4 billion in oil revenue coming in this June because of an oil price rally. So Russia is winning. According to oilprice.com, Russia's finance ministry expects 6.37 billion in additional oil revenue in June. Russia's exports haven't fallen off a cliff while it continues to sell natural gas to most of the European Union, and Russian crude exports could drop if the EU's sixth sanctions package is fully implemented. This is coming from oilprice.com, but I don't think those exports are going to drop. Actually, I anticipate more money coming into Russia as the price of oil hits 150, 180, maybe 200 a barrel. But Russia is winning. India is winning. China is winning. The UK, Boris Johnson is losing, and you saw that with the no confidence vote. Though Boris Johnson barely won that vote, he is on his way out. His days as UK Prime Minister are numbered. And how is that regime change, that Putin regime change, looking for you now, Boris Johnson? How's it going for you? That is why you are seeing such panic across the EU. And Zelensky is also panicking. Zelensky is basically coming out with statements saying that EU officials are now privately telling him to figure out a way to come to some sort of solution with Russia. You want to know why EU officials are urging Zelensky to come up with an agreement? Because they all understand that Russia is winning the war in Ukraine. They all understand that Russia is winning the economic war, and they see stuff like what's happening in Estonia or what's happening to Boris Johnson, and they're saying, crap, if things continue on this trajectory, I'm next. And they're worried about their power, because if there's one thing they love more than anything else in the world, it's their power. And they're starting to panic. And what's happening to Boris Johnson, I'm positive it is scaring the hell out of every leader in the European Union. Mark Rutte, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, Ursula von der Crazy even, Charles Michel even though these people are not elected officials, they're all scared. The EU guys are scared. The Prime Minister of Greece is scared. The Prime Minister of the Netherlands is scared. Olaf Scholz is scared and panicking. Even Macron is scared and panicking. And he recently won elections, but France has elections coming up in a month. They have parliament elections coming up in a month. And Macron is worried. He is scared. So it really is not working out well for the European Union. Not well at all. And saying that, I think I can now move on to my my clown world. Oh, I've got one more story here. And it has to do with confirmation that the assets seized, the foreign reserves seized by the European Union were indeed 27 billion. But there's a caveat. 85 billion of foreign reserves assets seized by the EU belong to foreign investors. So we now have some clarity as to the final amount of money that was seized in Europe by the European Union. And that money is coming, and this report is coming from Euroclear, which is one of the world's largest financial securities transactions companies. And they are saying that 27 billion in funds belonging to Russians was blocked by the EU, was frozen by the EU, and 85 billion held by foreign investors has been and was frozen by the EU. So that is the number now that we have with regards to this 300 billion in foreign reserves that was frozen by the collective West. 27 billion belonging to Russians and 85 billion held by foreign investors. That is so those are the numbers. Reportedly, non-resident investors' assets worth over 85 billion have been frozen. 27 billion worth of security belonging to Russians has been frozen by the European Union, according to strategists at ITI Capital. Euroclear, one of the world's largest financial securities transactions companies. So this kind of falls in line with the report I did last week, where you had a judicial commission, an EU judicial commissioner, saying that the number frozen by the EU was around 27 billion, tack on another 85 billion, and then tack on 100 billion, which is the number we're getting from the US, and we have some clarity as to the foreign reserves that were frozen by the collective West. Let's do a really quick clown world, and we'll wrap it up there. The clown world has to actually deal this time with Elon Musk and his purchase of Twitter. So this is a little bit of a different clown world. But since we're talking about oligarchs, I thought I would talk about Elon Musk and the oligarchs of the US, which are the richest oligarchs in the world. Because we always hear about the Russian oligarchs. Well, the wealth of the Russian oligarchs, guys like Abramovich, these are like pennies compared to the amount of money that Gates, Bezos, and Musk, Zuckerberg, and these guys control. I mean, these guys have a wealth in the 100, 200 billion level, where Abramovich is like 20 billion. These guys are at like 150, 200 billion. And in the case of Musk, we have this on again, off again buying of Twitter. This story about Musk buying Twitter, and he was supposed to buy Twitter for 44 billion. And then he said that he received information with regards to fake accounts on Twitter, and how Twitter was understating how many bots and fake accounts they have, and what they have disclosed with regards to the closing of this deal. And the bots on Twitter is much lower is much more than what Twitter is disclosing in their documents. And Elon Musk said, okay, you have so many bots now that no one was aware of, so the price tag that I put on Twitter, this 44 billion price tag, is actually overstating the amount of the company's value, because you guys have a ton of bots. And anyway, this whole, you've got more bots than you've told me, so 44 billion is too much, and maybe I'm not going to buy Twitter. And then you have lawsuits from investors against Twitter and against Elon Musk, and just all kinds of madness with regards to this Twitter purchase from Elon Musk. Well, the latest word we're getting is that Elon Musk is now finally saying that he is going to pull out of the deal to buy Twitter. The Tesla CEO may terminate his 44 billion buyout of the social media giant because they were withholding data on fake accounts. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk has warned Twitter's board of directors that he may back out of the deal to buy the social media platform for 45 billion because the company hasn't been forthcoming with information on fake and spam bot accounts. This is a clear material breach of Twitter's obligations under the merger agreement, and Mr. Musk reserves all rights resulting therefrom, including his right not to consummate the transaction and his right to terminate the merger agreement, lawyers for the Tesla and SpaceX CEO said on Monday in a letter to Twitter. This is a clown world, and I'm going to tell you why. Elon, you must have known that Twitter was full of bots. Full of bots. I don't know what Twitter told you, 5% of their user base is bots, 10%, whatever. So now you find out that Twitter actually has 20% of their user base being bots. I don't know, 30% of their user base are bots and robots, spam accounts and whatever. Okay, whatever it is. You must have known this. And if you didn't know this, what difference does it make? Buy Twitter, clean the company up, get rid of the bots, whether it's 5%, 10%, or 20%, whatever that number may be. Give them their 44 billion, buy the company, and be done with it, and save free speech. Wasn't that the mission of this whole thing? Wasn't that the purpose of Elon Musk buying Twitter? Was to save free speech, to save the First Amendment. I thought that was the whole purpose of this. 40 billion, 30 billion, 35 billion, 50 billion, whatever it is. We were all led to believe that Elon Musk was making this purchase for the greater good. And now he's nitpicking about how many bots Twitter disclosed or failed to disclose or whatever. This is just, this is clown world BS. If Elon doesn't want to buy Twitter, if you're getting cold feet, I don't know, maybe you're not having a good financial quarter. I don't know. Maybe you're not going to be worth 200 million in the next 3 months. You're going to be worth 150 billion, 200 billion, and you're going to be worth 150 billion. I don't know. Maybe your net worth is plummeted 50 billion, and you're not so hot on buying Twitter anymore. Whatever it is, just come out and admit it. Just come out and say, you know what? I don't really care about the First Amendment, and I'm just not so hot on Twitter anymore, and I'm pulling out of the deal. But this whole bot excuse to me is an excuse. It's an excuse, and I don't know. I'm just not buying Elon Musk's whole Twitter narrative, his whole Twitter play. At the end of the day, I think I said when this was first coming out, I think I actually said that this whole virtuous saving the First Amendment, I'm the Tony, who's the guy? Tony Stark, his Iron Man? Is that his name? I'm the Tony Stark of the world. This whole narrative was exactly that, a BS marketing narrative. And at the end of the day, Elon Musk is just like every other freaking oligarch out there. Maybe he's a little better. Maybe he's a little bit of a nicer oligarch. I don't know. But at the end of the day, for these guys, it's all about money and power. And for some reason, Elon Musk just doesn't see the money in Twitter anymore. That's simple. So I wish he would just buy Twitter for 40, 50 billion, whatever it is, and be done with it and save the First Amendment and clean up the company and make Twitter what it was meant to be and bring out the full potential of Twitter. And if you're not going to do that because they have 5% more bots than you thought, then, you know, you've made our clown world, Elon Musk. Congratulations. Anyway, that's the video, guys. I will leave it there. I'm going to try to get this up tonight. If I don't get this up tonight, this will be up tomorrow morning, my time, Athens time. So I'm signing out from there, theduran.locals.com. I hope the fountains, the noise of the fountains was not disturbing, but it is what it is. A fountain at an older style of Greek park here. You see the dirt? Hopefully they'll fix up this park as well. But for now, this is an old school park. And check out the bench. I was talking about the bench. Check out the bench. It's uncomfortable because they need like another plank here to make it comfortable. Anyway, I'll leave it there, everybody. Take care.